Hello. Hi, Jan. Thank you for joining us.
Hi,
Where are you sitting right now?
Frankfurt, Germany.
Okay. And how do you feel the German government and the German people have been responding to the crisis?
Well, I mean, I guess similar to well, actually not quite similar. I think one of the good things here is that the shutdown hasn't been as extreme as, for example, in Italy or Spain. So you can still go out and take a walk or jog or whatever. So I think that's a very good thing. Um, that our freedoms are not as curtailed as in other countries.
Yeah.
But considering the economic side, yeah, I mean, it's a disaster, like in any other country as well, um, for the hotel industry at least.
Right.
Um, and what they're basically doing is throwing money at it in various ways. But the the ongoing discussion still is, you have these loans, you have supportive programs, we have this thing called Kurzarbeit. I don't know whether you've heard of it. It's actually, if you read like international news,
Right.
you find that word quite often, like Financial Times or whatever, because it seems to be a very good model for the mass, at least temporary unemployment that can be avoided by you doing this. It's basically a mechanism that's been around for years, where the state takes over
Yeah.
a certain part of the salary of the employees who either don't work at all, or let's say 20% or something,
Yeah.
in order for the employer to not having to fire them.
So furlough is the word we're using in the UK. So what is it?
Yes, exactly.
What is it
Yes.
in German? Sorry.
Kurzarbeit.
I won't try to pronounce that.
Literal translation would be short work.
Got it. And so that I'm assuming therefore the majority of hotel staff have been put on that program and the government is supporting partially their salaries.
Yes. Well, I mean, the industry, I think, is fragmented. So we have various forms of ways trying to cope with this, and there might even be some layoffs for some hotels, but I think the majority is using this form of Kurzarbeit. Yeah.
Okay, right. Well, look, I wanted to talk about things unrelated to coronavirus and COVID because that seems to be all anyone is talking about at the moment.
Yes.
Maybe we might come back to it because obviously it's very important, and hotels are wondering like what they should be doing. And you are an expert in e-marketing, and so we want to make sure we get your point of view on that. But I wanted to see if we could just use a bit of time just to talk about in general, e-business and digital marketing at hotels, and particularly you and your career path. You've obviously, maybe I should let you say a little bit about the role and Deutsche Hospitality and what you do, but I'd love to just uncover a little bit about your philosophy in general for hotels and digital marketing. So yeah, we can talk about that. But could perhaps I'd let you explain what your role is and what you do at Deutsche?
Mhm. Well, Deutsche Hospitality is a fairly small or medium-sized hotel chain. Majority of our properties is in Germany or Central Europe, Netherlands, Austria, some in the Middle East, and we have a portfolio of all types of hotels, from luxury hotels to basically two-star budget hotels. And my role here is to lead the online marketing and web development efforts. So I have a team of of around 9 to 10 who support me in, the direct booking part of our hotel business, basically. Yeah.
Got it. And because obviously it's a prominent group and very well respected for what you've been doing in digital. You've really been sort of at the forefront, both in Germany and in Europe, on a load of digital marketing practices. So when you think about sort of the success that the business has had over the last few years in digital, what do you attribute it to? Like, what have been the key drivers that have made you guys embrace and be successful online?
Well, I think first thing is that you have to really be, you have to make digital not just an add-on to your hotel business, but a focus. You know? I think that's quite important. If you really want to be at the, want to be a front runner or be someone who innovates, who develops new things, you cannot just consider e-distribution or e-marketing or e-business, digital, whatever in general, as a byproduct of your hotel business. It's really at the core. It should be at the core. And I think this philosophy then enables you to, or allows you to try out things, to put more focus on the whole digital landscape within your hotel business, and then naturally you progress and you come up with good ideas, and this shows. Yeah.
And so for you, did that happen because the CEO of the group just had that mindset, or was this something that over time had to be sort of encouraged at the senior management team of the business?
Well, I think at least that's my impression. When I started here about 5 years ago, the idea was really from top management, but from the company in general. Okay, we're a little bit behind on all these digital things. Actually, we're quite far behind. So the guy who brought me on board here, I was working with him for a different company before. He had this idea of how to set up a digital unit within the company, and basically then from then on it started with the support of the board, etc., to be able to not just come up with something that allows the company to catch up on digital things, but actually be someone who's at the very top.
Got it. And what is it that got you into this role? What's the, I guess, the career path? But also, I'm interested in, what are the attributes or the things that you focus on that you think have really helped you like climb up the ranks and be sort of a leader in online. And I should add, for people who are watching who don't know you, that you've literally written a book on online marketing for hotels, available at all good bookstores and Amazon. If you're online right now, you can Google it and find it. What is it that sort of helped you through your career to get to the role you're in?
Well, actually, I'm not a digital marketer by education. I studied business and did my PhD in economics. I worked in consulting, and then I came into e-commerce. Worked in travel for our e-commerce travel. So I was working for a German OTA, which with a major focus on leisure and package business. And then took steps from there. And I think what really, if you sort of evolve in this, but I think it applies to any position or any function. There are some, at least to me, there are some principles you have to stick to, and I think this also helped us, being successful in what we do. I think the first and foremost is that you really have to be able to focus on what's relevant. I found that in the industry quite as well, that people, they jump on the new trend and they do all this stuff, but they don't really put the effort in thinking about whether it's actually worth it. To give you an example, I've came across a couple of stories where people, think about, okay, we have to develop this storytelling on our website. We have to do great Instagram posts, etc., etc. And they really invest time in that. Whereas the leverage, for example, for your business, for revenue or for direct bookings from this is small, and in some cases even non-existent. So there are other things that you should focus on that might not be as trendy or sound as sexy, like conversion rate optimization or basic principles of web development. But these are the things that actually get you forward. Yeah. So sort of have that 20/80 mindset. I think that's really crucial to success. And then also in anything, I think you have to be analytical in what you do. You know, in the marketing business or online world, creativity is always, you know, you have to stick out, you have to do these creative campaigns, etc., etc., etc. But my experience is that this all doesn't work if you're not having a analytical structure on which you build on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Basically, for in the daily business, this means, okay, always reflect on yourself, look at the numbers, analyze, see what's working, what's not. I think this is also very, very crucial. Because from this, if you do this, then you get the right results, and the right results show, and then you're successful.
And is that? Do you think that? So I'm with you. I think that social media in general is a relatively poor driver of incremental bookings for most hotels. There's a reason why, you know, Booking.com has previously said, you know, Glenn Vogel said social just doesn't work. Now, advertising on Facebook is different, but, you know, consumer social advocacy doesn't seem to really move the needle. But is that because, you know, that's him speaking as a generic sort of OTA, and that's you speaking with the kind of hotels you have? Do you think that actually, you know, there are segments, luxury, whatever, where it is really valuable?
Yes, it's of course it's always difficult to generalize, especially for saying something that this applies to all hotels. You will always have cases where it plays a bigger role than, for example, for the average hotel, as you refer to, say, luxury resort. That's a different case maybe, but still, from what we've seen, and as I said, we have a quite diverse portfolio. There is no hotel where you actually say, okay, social media is our primary driver, or at least it's a driver where we have to substantially invest on because it's worth the effort.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, you know, there aren't hotels out there. I don't know all hotels of the world where this is the case, but for us, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, no influencers at Jazz City, Jazz Property, for example. Okay, so that's really useful. And then the other thing I'm interested in, so in your team, when you think about the team you work with now, the team you've worked with in the past, and you think of the superstars, the people you can see are going to be having a really big impact on your hotel brand or other wherever else they go to in their careers. What is it that's special about them? What are they doing, like in general, and maybe like how are they approaching the challenge right now?
You mean this particular problem right now, or?
Yeah, I mean, in this. Yeah, maybe I should start with the generic thing. So when you look around, the people who you can see are really going to be like moving your business forwards in the future. You know, what is it? What are you looking for? What do you see in them that suggests this person's doing the right things?
Yeah, I think a general, how do you say, trait of people that are successful or that can make you successful in the future is, you know, to have a certain drive, to not rely on others to motivate them. I think that's the most important feature sort of you can have as an employee or entrepreneur, whatever.
Yeah.
For entrepreneurs, it's obvious, but for team members to be motivated intrinsically, you know, not having to be pushed, because those are the people who come up with ideas. They also, in a time like this, may help you move out of it. Yeah. When you know, when the silver lining shows, and you can see, okay, how are we going to get out of this? And those people are the ones who come up with ideas that help you.
Okay, self-starters.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And what then right now, you know, bringing it back a little bit to today and the challenges and struggles people have, what are the self-starters and what are you doing, you know, as you think about the business and how you'll come back and where you'll spend budgets and what your strategies will be? Can you talk a little bit about how you're thinking about the problem ahead and how you're going to approach it?
Well, the first thing is we're, or at least I try to apply scenarios. So I'm trying to attach certain probability to, different scenarios that might come, because at least in Germany, it's sort of on a day, maybe not day by day, but week by week. Yeah. So the next round of announcements on what's going to happen will be at the end of April. So for that point, then you sort of think, okay, what are the options of, say, the government, and what can happen? And from there, you structure your marketing. So basically, one scenario would be that you can open your hotel, say, end of May, but you don't know how demand is going to react. You cannot know that. Either there's going to be a lot of demand because people have the need to catch up. They want to go out, they want to travel, assuming that they can, or consumer spending is really down, and you basically have a problem because you're competing for what the little demand that's going to be out there. You have a lot of competitors that are going to compete for that. So you have to be ready for an increased competition in online marketing as well. It means, say, am I willing to apply the maximum cost of sale for my booking that I used last summer this year too? Or am I willing to go maybe 10% higher? Thoughts like this, I think that are necessary to then apply in certain scenarios, and then you see what's going to happen, but you have to be able to react.
Yeah. And are you trying any or thinking about any like completely new things like hotel bonds? We're seeing a bit more pop up in the US, trying to get loyal customers to sort of prepay to help flow. Are you looking at things like this?
I read an interesting article actually about restaurants in London that are doing exactly that. Right. We've also thought about that, but we didn't actually experiment with it. I think it's also an interesting thing to see, because of you might think, okay, I can generate cash flow and have these loyal customers who know to buy it, but then on the other side, I'd say, okay, will customers really buy it, not knowing whether this restaurant or hotel, whatever, will be around in 2 months?
Yeah.
But so I don't know whether it's working. What we haven't experimented with. Yeah. I think it's also because of I think 90% of our hotels are completely closed. So not knowing the duration of this phase, we're sort of staying away from marketing efforts that would be required to sell those types of bonds.
Yeah,
but it's an interesting idea, no doubt.
Yeah, and one of the things you mentioned there was cost of sale and what are you prepared to pay. And I know one of the things you advocate about the way hotels should be about digital marketing and spend. Do you think that taking that approach means you're more or less likely to allocate your marketing dollars in a different way? Sorry, I should say euros, in a different way from other hotels? Like coming out of this, do you think it's does the same strategy hold true versus, well, I'm just going to have a minimal level of, I don't know, pay-per-click advertising, getting on my name? Like, do you feel a reason to maybe change the way you think about how much to spend and where to spend marketing money?
Not really. I mean, I don't think that the OTA commission will change in any respect. So you're in that same position again. Am I willing to give this booking to the OTA, or am I willing to get it on my own website, and at what price? And if I'm just willing to say I'm going to be at 5% search ads marketing and not more, you're going to pay that in commissions if you get the bookings. Yeah, assuming all else is equal. But so it doesn't make me change my strategy here. Quite the opposite. I think it will be interesting to see how many competitors will be on all those other marketing channels, and whether the price of marketing or the cost per click or cost per sale actually goes up, or given the circumstances, competitors, or there are fewer competitors for my hotel, So I'm basically able to sell or to buy my traffic at a lower price.
Yeah.
Assuming that, okay, you have fewer competitors in an auction for the bids on Meta and Facebook and search ads, etc. So the price is going to decrease. That's something that we'll see.
Expedia said yesterday they're expecting to go from an annual spend of over 5 billion on online on marketing in general. I think it was performance marketing. So from 5 billion to under 1 billion in the year. So definitely there's going to be less competition.
Yes.
But I think my expectation is that for most hotels, the increased nervousness of cancellations and the unknown variability in future cancellations, should a second wave hit and everything else, I suspect means that most hoteliers will just feel we just want to only work with channels where we don't suffer the cancellation risk, i.e. OTAs. Is that, do you feel that you have a different level of confidence around your digital marketing that means you're happy and willing to take the risk and track the metrics? Or do you think you'll also likely fall into we have got to be a bit more nervous and cautious, so we're likely to increase spend?
Yeah, well, that's actually something I haven't figured out yet, I must admit. I think we work closely, of course, with our revenue management on what type of strategy to apply there. But of course, this would be a limiting factor in what we're willing to sort of risk in the online marketing. But then again, one thing I'd consider is that probably most bookings will be very short term.
Yes.
So you don't have this huge gap between time of spend and time of revenue realization. So maybe you can be flexible in the way you spend money, because we're talking about bookings here for the next week or for the next 2 or 3 days, and if I see that the cancellations are coming in, I'm decreasing my marketing.
Actually, and that's something we've definitely seen in the data, particularly from APAC markets where they've opened up a little more, is that because people are on short lead time, mobile traffic actually is a better bet for advertising spend. And for example, whether it's Meta or whether it's retargeting, you can target people specifically with that low lead time, so they're far less likely to cancel and just spend your money there. So yeah, I agree.
Yes.
I think that's a great final thought and takeaway. Thank you so much. It was really good to have a chat, and I'm glad we managed to stay off coronavirus for a little bit of time. But obviously, it's also fascinating and interesting. I wish you the very best luck. I hope that Germany opens up. You guys, a little bit like the US, there's a lot of domestic travel that I imagine you could bounce back quite a lot quicker in Germany.
That's the idea. That's what they're all hoping, because I think, for at least for the next year, maybe even European travel is limited, if not dead. Yeah. So they're all really hoping to if domestic travel increases, to benefit from that. Yeah. And I'm hoping that this will be the case.
Good. Well, I hope so, and keep safe and be well.
You too.
Good to chat to you.
Thank you. Bye.